Wie hieß der Gabe?
Alan.
Oh, Samala, Halon, Emre Mashamish. So, Halon approached me on Thursday to sagen a Parvert, to sagen Shiur, and Mary Alatzonis. It's really beautiful to be here to see how Baruch Hashem, this shul has been growing and growing, and the secret is the Halon Emre Mashamish. Whether it's the Rov, it's noch hakvutze, learning, I'm sure it's much more than that, but it's the Ha'imad Mashamish, providing for the Ingelite, and that is the key to the phenomenal success, and the Eibishos will help him to grow Mechayel of Hayel. Today's Hayem Yem, I mentioned to you when you read the Hayem Yem this morning, reminded me of my Yechidus before my Bar Mitzvah. This is in Tafshin Lamed Dalet. And I went here with my father, Alav Shalom, and the Rebbe asked my father about a particular name which was on the list of my father's, Kurovim, etc. And the Rebbe asked, it was a bocher who was unmarried, he was working, and the Rebbe asked my father, does he have Kviyas Itim L'Teirah? Does he have set times for learning Torah? My father did not know of that, so he didn't say anything. So the Rebbe says to him, "Sollst du ihm sagen, sollst du ihm übergeben. Als Kviyasitim bei Teire ist eine Gehe die Kinder und die Kindskinder, das habe ich gehört von dem Rebbe dem Schwer, wird zusammen zuhören." Then he says, Mistame hat das gehört von Seitentaten von dem Rebbe nicht muss sagen, wird erwartet zuhören. I don't really fully understand what went there, those few details. But I was said that Kviyasitim in Torah is vital for the children and for the children's children. The children is verstandig. This I'm now explaining. For the children, they see the father goes home, go whatever. His day is affected by his Kviyasitim b'Torah. It also affects which shidduchim you'll make. When it comes to shidduchim, whether it will be that way inclined or inclined differently. So children from a house where the father hot Kviyasitim b'Torah, so then that's the kind of shidduch which will be developed, which Bez Hashem will develop. And b'meile, but the kinder will be affected to the tata of Kviyasitim b'Torah. This is one part which I want to tell you from that Yechidus. The second part is that at that time, as I talked in Lamed Dalet, my Shver Olav Shalom, Rabbi Nachman Sudak, who wasn't my Shver when I was just about turned Bar Mitzvah for technical reasons, and he got it into his mind to encourage us Bar Mitzvah boys to ask the Rebbe to put a Rabbeinu Tamas tefillin. I don't know whether I've told this before at this tzibur. Just to help you remember that Tofshin Lamed Vov was when the Rebbe came out on Purim and said it's a green light. Any bocher who's Bar Mitzvah should wear, has his own pair of tefillin. But this was 2 years before. And so one by one, the older boys in my class came here and the Rebbe gave them permission. And then, so I was pestering my father. When it comes after the Yechidus, my father asks, the bocher will legen Rabbeinu Tamas tefillin. So the Rebbe said if I say in Yiddish, he says, yeah, if I translate.
First say
All right. So the Lashon Harav, Eber wird auf sich unternehmen, nicht zu Masiach da sein. Weil Machshavas Asuris redet man doch nicht, und Machshavas Reshus echt nicht. Das ist doch nur 10 Minuten. Und der Eize zu dem ist allein zu gucken, sei zu Shema behoyem Shemoya, sei zu Ayida behoyem Kiviach. If he will commit himself, not to have... I told the story.
No.
So the Rebbe says, if he will commit himself not to have foreign thoughts, forbidden thoughts is out of the question, but even arbitrary thoughts, and it's only 10 minutes, and the solution is that I'm telling Lokashon Harav. It's only 10 minutes, and the solution is to look in the Siddur. When you're reading Shema B'Hoyim Shemoya, Sai V'Yadav B'Hoy Kiviyacho, then he asked my father, does he have his own film yet? Father said, no. So he said, so until we wait till he has his own film. Okay, I come back, and you remember Samson on Portland Avenue? So I used to go every day after school to check out how much film I'd be, being made. Eventually, I started putting on, and I asked my shver was our mashpia. He learned with us chassidus. I asked him, "What do I do for the 10 minutes?" So he said, "Learn up English." So I've been doing that also for the last 40 something years. So
where did you get that idea from?
Is it your test of zo aan koffer? Die was lang like 4 paar. Bichlal, it's your test. Bichlal, the union of learning in Rabbeinu Towns, zit in zendelijkes voor. Learning something. And the Alter Rebbe also in the Siddur, he says, but you'll be behen, doesn't this a kashor? He said, you'll be behen. Two things. In the Siddur film, he says, learning something about Towns. After Aleinu, he says to say the Gimel Parshas, to say Lein and Kushba, which we'll get to. Upon him, this was Tov Lamed Daled Chanukah. We entered Chanukah. And no, I wasn't by mitzvah. It was a two, but till my film would be ordered, until there'd be a, so it wasn't relevant. No, the Rebbe wanted that you should have your own, otherwise you might be,
One day
inconsistent. So then comes. If you don't mind, I'm not saying it of our halacha yet. I'll just tell you this history. In this Medrash, this is I'll call upon him. So then I go off to a year later. I go to yeshiva, and something which is very, very valuable to me. I came to Benoit, Elul Lamed Hey, and Lamed Vav. I came for Tishri, and after Tishri, the Rebbe sent instructions to reimburse every bacher, to reimburse 50% of that ticket. So we went, a whole group of us, we went from Benoit to the Lishke, Room LA, and Binyamin Garadetsky gave us each one, was a Begitar de Geld, it went for the coming year. So now, this is Tafshil Lamed Vov. So Lamed Zayin, to end of Lamed Vov, and so I want to go to the Rebbe again. Okay, you have to have it settled for Reb Nissen. And Reb Nissen, it was a high price. You have to chazer mem aleph by mem aleph, well mem beis, chav hey, chav vav, and mamorim, whatever it was, to get that settled. Otherwise, you can't go in. I practically got on my knees to him, saying, I can't memorize so much. So he gave me a settle, and this is now Tishri Tovshin Lamed Zayin, and at the end of Yom Tov, we had discussed the Gan Yechidus again. And so in my settle, I asked for a bracha. And so the Rebbe deftly opens Reb Nissen's settle, sees what kind of attention this guy needs. And then he reads my settle and he gives the bracha. And on my settle, as a polite Englishman, I had written an apology that I'm not keeping my agreement. Now, the Rebbe said not to have any machshavas zoros, and I felt I wasn't keeping up to it. And meanwhile, everyone's got a free lunch, and I'm stuck now with the. So I don't know exactly what, as a 16-year-old boy, what I was thinking. But Lepayel, I wrote a kind of an apology, and I'm not keeping it. So the Rebbe gives you a bracha, and by the way, you'll love this. I always would write that the Eltern Hoirim or Moirim should have nachas for me. So each time I noticed the Rebbe said the Eltern will have for their nachas. The Moirim have for me gelitten. I call upon him. So then the Rebbe comes to the end of the settle, and he says, I'm saying in Yiddish, "Wenn ich gehe, das was du fragst wegen Tefillin der Rabbeinu Tam. Wenn es wird dir reinfallen, machshavas zoros, sollst du heben dem kol abisele, und das wird vertreiben dem machshavas zoros." So the Rebbe says, if and when foreign thought comes to mind, raise your voice somewhat, and that will drive away the machshavas zoros. Why I tell you all of this? First of all, it's entertaining, but also you mentioned about the Siddur. Why did I gravitate unwittingly to do so much research on the Siddur? So I had this bracha from the Rebbe, Arayin Kochen the Siddur, and that's your solution to not getting to machshavas zoros. If I may, I'll say one more thing, and that is Tofshin Nun Gimel approximately. So Rabbi Nissen Mangel arrived in London to speak about the Yonim Moshiach. Nun Beis, Nun Gimel, was after the Rebbe was unwell, and he told after that when he was working on the Mari Mekemis of the Shulchan Aruch, So the Rebbe, he would come into the Rebbe from Montreal, and when he came to the Netilas Yadayim, you have in Netilas Yadayim, you have in the Alter Rebbe's Shulchan Aruch. Then you have in the Siddur 3 pages on the Netilas Yadayim. So he prepared Marmekemus on that. So the Rebbe said to him, as auf dem was nicht gedacht zugreiten und nicht auf dem Birchas Hanenin, weil es die Fana Einikel von Tzemach Tzedek, was schön gemacht auf dem. But das schön gemacht, soll es hereingeht. So you look in it's probably now an antique, the Marmekemus from Rabbi Mangel on Chelik Aleph. So there's Marmekemus also in Hilchas Netilas Yadayim in the Siddur. So he shared with, there was this Shmuel, Shalei Posco, that the Rebbe, like he has the Rishimis on the whole of the Haggadah, on the similar style, there's a Rishim of the Rebbe on the whole of the Siddur. On where's that? Is none other than, I'll say that, Akaponim, this was pre-Nun Dalet, this was a common Shmuel and the Rebbe from Rebbe Rishimis of the ganze Siddur. So shortly after this, so a bocher, now when I was about 19 years old, I was interested in the Marmekemus. In the back of the Shulchan Aruch, you got the halachos in the Siddur. It had no Marmekemus at all, and I'm going to come to that in a moment. But one of the Chidushim the Alter Rebbe has about if the tal's cotton vetzuknage is crumpled, it loses the shear, and that's why we all wear tzitzis bendel play. So I wrote my Marmekemus, and then when I was in Yeshiva, I wrote a Marmekemus on the Alter Rebbe Siddur, the Chasitzis. This is not Dovshin Meh, whatever. Now, Non Gimel, the Bacha asks me why we don't cut off the corner of the cover of the koldere, of the bed cover. So I looked at what I'd written 10 years earlier, or 15 years earlier, and I saw it wasn't. I didn't understand what the Alter Rebbe had said, and I'd written something, but it didn't make sense. And I'm looking here, it's puzzling, I don't understand. And I'm thinking to myself, if only I could get hold of a heavyweight beer on the Alter Rebbe Siddur, which, I'm talking about before this new print was even dreamed of. And then I hear from Angel, as beim Rebbe voran the Shibas of the Siddur. So I wrote into the Rebbe, and I asked the Rebbe, Ulai, would be an opportunity now, the Rebbe should release his Rishimis on the Siddur. So label, Allah Shalom, label later reads the zettel. And the Rebbe shockt auf den Kopf auf nicht. So then label says, should Raskin in London continue his research on the Siddur? I didn't ask. I didn't ask about research. I wanted the Rebbe's regimes. I wasn't interested in a Kolponim. Later that they found Take in the archives, they found that there was a Einikel Tzemach Tzedek from Shitomir, Mordche from Shitomir, and he had prepared Take Markeris on the Alter Rebbe's Birchas Hanenin and on Netilas Yadayim, and the Rebbe had been working on it to prepare it for print, and he never finished it. But that was when I kind of got back to the job of research on the Siddur, and Baruch Hashem, 20 years ago, it finally after many tribulations came out.
What happened to that?
No, it's been published. Better 11 gave it out about 20 years ago. It's a thin blue volume.
Was it incorporated by your work?
Some of it. You mean the new edition?
No.
Then no. Bichlal, I did not. No. As a policy, I did not deal with Birchas Hanenin because Kadosh B'Ram, and I didn't see a point in making Makedas because you had from Kosil Grim or Shalem, then you had this one, that one. So it's there in the Siddur, but in the new edition, which is Habor Lein L'Teva, so so then there, anything which got to do with Nikud, or that kind of Nusach, rather than Halacha, that I did. So let's say Shakol Niyomid Vore, Niyabid Vore, that kind of thing. I okay. Let's now come to Norder Hakdoma Arucha B'Yaser. So let's go one Halacha for the moment about the Tuknech the Talskon. The Alter Rebbe has this. This is Mamish a Chiddush. No one before the Alter Rebbe comes up with this. That the Beged, he talks about the Shiur Amal Amo, and we have actually a manuscript. We have a manuscript of the Maril, the Alter Rebbe's brother, of those Hilchos Tzitzis, and this piece is not there. It was added later. And Alter Rebbe has a message given that Kol Shiur Hazeh has to be, Amal Amot should be open. If it's going to be crumpled, it loses the Shiur. Now, there's a sefer called Shuvas Beis Yankiv, which the Alter Rebbe mentions him occasionally, and he writes the very same question. And that's not a problem, because Kol Ha'oimed Li Poshet, Keposhet Dami, like I call Oimed Li Zorek Zorek Dami, if it's got the dimensions to be able to be spread out, doesn't matter if it's crumpled. That's what he said. And the Alter Rebbe says just the polar opposite. So this is for the Eshte Chidushim, which I discovered in the Alter Rebbe Siddur. What's the Hezbollah? Here's a fascinating. There is a concept called Oimed Li Zorek Zorek Dami, called Oimed Li Poshet, etc. Now we all know that an esrig or a lulav shel ashera is possible. Havos, because it's Oimed Li Zorek. The Nezaloshen Ketute Mechtes L'Shiur. He doesn't have a shiur. Fragt the Shaila, Vila Moshul Schach. Schach shel ashera. He covered the sukkah with Schach shel ashera. He steht in Meiri, and it's brought in the Shara Melech. Melech is say from Rambam. Akaponim, Meiri writes in Me'ein Erevin, it's kosher, of course, because there's no din in the size of the Schach. There's a din in the area of the sukkah of Zayin al Zayin should be Tzilosa Meruba Bechamosa. But there's no shiur in the size of the Schach. And you read the Alter Rebbe's Lashon, did you bring us to them? Anyone got Torah Siddur? I got one
on the chat.
Okay, never mind.
That's why I didn't bring it.
I didn't want to show that I know about Pep. I don't have an accent. Al Kaponim, the Alter Rebbe has V'chol Hashiur Zeh, and he says like this.
Last time we had to check something like we had a neighbor upstairs.
But this is the back of the Shulchan Aruch also Chelik Aleph. He says the following: the shaila is, what is the shiur of talus cotton? The amo al amo. It does azevi ha'esrik.
You don't have a sign up here.
Wow. No, it's nice. C'est frère. Okay. It's the first. It's in the first. I think the fifth halacha. Doesn't matter. In Alter Rebbe's Chelik Aleph. Yeah. So where's the lotion again? Please give a siddur. Give tzitzis. V'chol Hashiur Hazeh shal rechev ve'erech v'telas kochen tzachli is kulei mufshut amal b'shas odem v'chol Hashiur Hazeh kulei k'mesh kosev asher techasem b'daiko v'lo yiskaper v'lo yiskaper kul Shiur Hazeh ki mokem hanikmel oy hanikmet eino elam min amido. And you see the lotion, he says that it has to be a mal b'shas odem. The shiur amal amo is not talking about the size of the tzitzis. I'm talking about chisei odem. B'meile, was ox mir alomdes, the Beis Yankiv zok mir alomdes. Kol eimel is mashet. Yeah, the Talus Cotton is a kosher, the Talus Cotton. Aber du bist chanish bechusse. B'meile, the alomdes from the Kol eimel b'poshet keposhet domi is talking about the size of the baguette. But here's a shiur like a schach has to cover the body, so you have to have an amal of coverage. Nish negei the alomdes.
Like because amas ish.
It has to be the body has to be covered. All right, the Shinach Prat. I call upon this in the Alter Rebbe's, as I say, Lamp Shad. You look in this very meduik in this Lashon. It's adin in Kisha Odom, nicht adin in Geidel HaBeged. The Mele is verstandig that the Lomdes doesn't help. All right, das ist ein Sache. Okay. I don't know whether it's here in this Chelik. The Alter Rebbe has a chiddush legabe the tefillin have to be be'emtza. And he says, befrat b'tefillin darashi, the tefillin have to be be'emtza. And this is a chiddush of the Alter Rebbe. Because in earlier Mekeiris, we know it's beini necha. But the idea that it has to be mamish and middle, that doesn't say in earlier Mekeiris. In fact, others are not so fussy. The Alter Rebbe says, since it says, Whatever. These on the right and these on the left. So then this has to be on the right side. This has to be on the left side. So then, if you have the tefillin, even a drop, even 2 millimeters, 3 millimeters over, so then they're not on the right side of your head. So the Alter Rebbe's there was mechadish. It has to be mamish be'emsa. Part them what weis bin from them. Me weis as the Alter Rebbe. We know the famous story of the Alter Rebbe using a mirror. From the Tabik Pushka to check if the tefillin should be before, should be in the be'emsa. There is also a story that the Alter Rebbe. I remember he disagreed with the Shach, and then he has a dream, and he was told that when he davens his tefillin are off center. He says by Alter Rebbe, when der Inyan that tefillin shall sein be'emsa is a wichtige Sache sehr. Let me just share with you something about Tavil de Chiddush, and that is about Eruv Tchumen. We all know that this is more negay when you're out in the country, that you can't walk there more than 2,000 ames out of the built-up area. If you do want to, so then you have to make an Eruv Tchumen. You put a box of food or something. It should be, I say a box because it has to be safe, but it shouldn't be eaten up by animals. And then you can go another 2,000 ames. Okay. The shaila is, where do you start the 2,000 ames? Does the 2,000 ames start from the edge of the city, or does it start from your house?
Your house.
And you look in the Alter Rebbe, you can look it up in the Siddur, and you can look it up in Chelik, based on the Hisofis. And he says, "B'teich alpayim mi beisu," which is Zayanish. This is not the popular opinion. Let me explain. I live in a built-up area, and I'll walk 2 miles, and then the end of town. Then I can walk another alpayim amo. I want to walk for more than that. I can walk 4,000 amas from the edge of the city. I've gone there. I'll get on what's a gedarf. I want to come home. From my, what's the word of the Eruv? It means you're kind of shvisa there. So instead of saying I'm living in Crown Heights in a comfortable bed, I'm living on this in the open on the Al Eim Haderech. I'm living where the box of matzah is. Okay, so from the box of matzah I have 2,000 amen. How do I get home? If my kinyan shvisa is 2,000 amas out of town, or even 1,000 amas out of town, so I have a radius of 2,000 amas from the box of matzah. How does it get me home? Which I'm 3 miles away from the edge of the town. So Rashi in Erevin has an idea that you've got a double identity. Also, kinyan shvisa do when you're comfortable bed, you have another kinyan shvisa by your box of matzah. But nicht alle showing them on the side. That's be very big kiddush of Rashi. The pastures, other. Once you've been kind of shvisa out there, so you've forfeited your shvisa at home.
Wait, how did it not pay that?
So
2,000 amas out of the Gilmach?
Out of the built-up area. So there's no problem of going. The problem will be if you make your aid of tchumen more than alpayim mi beisoi, you can go, but you won't be able to get home.
Let me hold. That's your home.
Fine. So enjoy your matzahs on the Eim Haderech. The Alter Rebbe says.
You mean it's a one-way, not a two-way?
Because you from your house till the box of matzah is 7,000 dollars.
Yeah.
So if you kind of shvisa by the matzahs, okay, so you can go 2,000 dollars for your matzah. If you're out of town, you can go 2,000 dollars. But as you're going to a town doesn't help you.
Where were you when Shabbos started?
2,000 amas away, then you could walk around the city.
But there's no, the word as kol ha'ir kadal damas is only the city where you kind of shvisa.
Why?
Sorry to disappoint you, I read the Meister. The city where you are kind of shvisa, they call it kadal damas, yeah. But Lamoshul, you're out in the suburbs, and you want to go to Schaefer, and you want to go. There's a green belt, and you go from this shtetl to the next shtetl. and it's within 2,000 amas. But you cannot go more than 2,000 amas. From once you come to the it doesn't become a dal damas. If you get stuck in the airport, you arrive very late in Shabbos, you can't go more than 2,000 amas. Are you now in the town? Sorry, you're stuck by a string. You have a tether of 2,000 damas from so you don't have that.
If the whole
As she does Rashi is since Taka the box of matzah. But let's pay all you a kind of shvisa in town where you're comfortable bed.
We're worried about Be'er Shabashas, right?
So Rashi says you got two shvis, but the other Rishonim say no. You got it there, you lost it there.
But the question is, are you saying that you can go to it from your house 6,000 miles away? You just can't get back home?
Yeah.
So how does that?
Because they call Kaliyas Kedal Damas.
Only one way, only out.
Because until you get there, the Kaliyas Kedal Damas.
That's where you are.
Yeah, that's not a problem.
So you're a dollar. So you like to by the
Yeah, but once you gone out, you can't get back into your house. Yeah.
Right.
Well, your Dal Damas is Dal Damas,
Always
not
have
yours.
your dollar.
The Elam fit sich nicht to say, and there's a sich of the Rebbe, so machst man nicht to say, as the Elam is fit that if you live in a big, yeshiv, you put the 8 of 2,000 amas outside the yeshiv, and they are following the Shittas Rashi. The Alter Rebbe in Siddur says, good. Now Chazach, let me just see, I can find it here. The Alter Rebbe had. They say they push it. Although bis kann ich wissen, bei mir kein Peter, egal nicht, I said that's your radius. From wherever you garnish. So if you are living in a small yeshiv, it's not such a problem. But if you are living in a distance from the Ksei here, then really the aid of Tchum doesn't help you very much. Ich verstehe. Die sind der Yeshiva von Menschen verstehen mich besser, mich besser. Sie schauen gewoon nefesh. Ja, versteht ihr? The Lomdes. Right. Now, I can't find it here, but I'm going to take a regular siddur. No, regular siddur. Hashem siddur. And I'm going to read a text which b'derech klal people don't pay attention to.
Just one.
And it's the small words. Here. Yeah. Okay, you ready? Shalosh regalim. B'musif shal Yom Tov Rishon shal Pesach maschilin loymar moed hato. B'musif shmini atzeres maschilin loymar mashivaruach hamoed hageshem. V'ein hatzibur rashai lahaschil ad sheyishmeu mipi hashams. You can't switch over until you hear from the chazan, from the gaben. Gaben. When noyagin shehashamish machris koid. No, sorry, that's shatz the chazan. When noyagin shehashamish machris koid matfila. So then I'll explain this in a moment. Lefichoch loy dai shecheshiyachris mashivaruach levad elo yoimar gam kemeid hageshem. So mo gehet as a ganzer deal, a ganzer pil. Gaben. Okay, Hilchas Gabe. When you make the hachrose on Shmini Atzeres, loy die that you're around. Mashivaruach, nicht genug. Mit da sagen, elo yoyme gam kein moirid hageshem. So eigentlich da ist der. Was ist da geschehen? Was geht ihm on the mice? Is the lotion of the Mishnah mei masai maskirin gvures geshomen. There's a din of maskirin, and then there's another gives of machrizin. To switch over, there has to be a hachros. Switch over, there has to be a hachros. Amol given, they say there was in the stille Shmonesre. You are still keeping to not saying Geshem. The chazin sach, and you have it still as Geshem. That's the hachros. That's what the Alter Rebbe says first. that you can only switch over at Yishmo Mipi Yashliach Tzibur when the Chazan switches over. Oh, Benoi Hagin, that Hashamish, Nidasham, Hashamish, the Gabe macht Haklap auf den Tisch, and he says an announcement. Oh, so instead of waiting for the Chazan to switch you over, so we have the Shamis with the bang on the tail, the Bimmer, he is Machris. Oh, it says a din achrozen. There's a din, there has to be a achrozen's Gershom. If also studying Ruach, you haven't announced Gershom yet. Dr. Alter Rebbe, that's not good enough. But that's Oistrufin, Mashiv Ruach, Umayda Gershom, because it's a din of achrozen. If you'll say half the thing, he hasn't been Mekayim the din of Machrizim. That's okay. But if he says Mashiv Ruach, although we all know exactly what he means, and nevertheless, yeah, I want to just tell you, perhaps this last time I spoke about the Siddur, I think I showed you a Ksavyad Siddur of the Midritcha Magid Siddur, and it's got a Hagor there. Remember this thing? There was that Mashiv Ruach, that there are those who say in summer Mashiv Ruach made it Hatol. And that there's a Hagor there, no, it should be just Merid Hatol. And it's got to do with Shema. Merid Hatol is a remez of Shema. Mashiv Baruch is a remez of Shema. If you do Merid Hatol, you're missing the remez Shema. Okay. What's noch? The point, not many people ask the question. Yeah. How often have I had a shiloh of tchum? Very, very rare. I mean, perhaps here in America, it's more common.
You go to South, you go to the Cat the Mountain.
Yeah. And then you got chevra who are dedicated to develop, the tchumin. It's nicht kein glatte Sache. Oh, now that also depends whether the airport is within the Ribua Shiur. The Moshel here, Mistame it is, yeah. But other places, the airports are out of town. So, but this is enough communal. The Moshel also, if I had a shiloh once on a Erev Yom Tov, so someone arrives to his daughter in Sweden, and his suitcase didn't arrive. So the company said they'll deliver it the following day. So then a shiloh, but he's able to use his kapote which is in the suitcase, which is mischutz l'tchum. Get around in them child. Okay. Yes, but since it came from beyond it, let's say if you get an Amazon package, are you allowed to use it on Shabbos? It arrives on Shabbos. It depends on where the depot is. If the depot is within New York metropolis, you're okay. But if it's in the Kleinstädtel, the likelihood is it's come from Yichutz L'Tchum, and that would be an issue. Okay, one of the chidushim of the Alter Rebbe in Nusach. This is talking about halachas, yeah.
Is Nusach halacha?
Is Nusach shus halacha? So when you have Shabbos Rosh Chodesh, Nusach Shabbos Rosh Chodesh is going to be the Ger this Shabbos. So we have here, the Alter Rebbe has a different Nusach to Nusach Ashkenaz. This is the Nusach Sfard. You have two elements. You have the Shabbos element and the Rosh Chodesh element. And you look in Nusach Ashkenaz, it's just the focus is just on Rosh Chodesh, and the Shabbos element you kind of mostly drop. And they Sfard, whatever it is, and the Alter Rebbe was mechadesh somehow to give due attention to both the Nusach of the attention to Shabbos and Rosh Chodesh, and the Moshel division it's Chassidim, well they don't daven das Alter Rebbe's Nusach, but it comes to Shabbos Rosh Chodesh, nutzen sie dem Alter Rebbe's Nusach, because this is the only Nusach which actually kind of does justice to both the Shabbos and Rosh Chodesh. Which is, the last bracha, and there's a very significant difference there. Another thing, Lamoshel, in the Libein Ha'elamim at the end of Korbanos, the mention of Keteiros. You look at earlier in the Schos, there's no mention of Keteiros, because in the Schos doesn't say Keteiros before Shachris. So there was but the Alter Rebbe is following the Nusach Sfard, so we do have the Keteiros. The Alter Rebbe had to add, B'chtarnu ha'Ketoros b'zmano. because we had to mention it because because it's changed. All right. What's enough? One of the massive. What my impression is, we know the Alter Rebbe did not print the Shulchan Aruch B'chai.
Except for
No. He didn't print anything B'chai.
Not the Gras saw the
That first of all, you're talking about Hilchos Talmud Torah.
Oh,
I don't know. There wasn't anything printed till 3 years after the Alter Rebbe's Stalkut of Kanai Ayinvov. Bishatvar Pella, why he didn't print it? I mean, the Magid wanted him to print the Shulchan Aruch, to write the Shulchan Aruch. So blaming Yad. All right, whatever you can theorize about that. But the Alter Rebbe did print the Siddur B'chayov. He printed it off Sabbath. I want to tell you this thing. I did not see on the shelves here the new Siddur Imdach.
in the homes.
It's in the homes. There's a new edition, a beautiful edition, 2 volumes of the Siddur Imdach.
It matches the new look at that.
It matches the same size. The words inside are slightly different. And what I have this obsession on the Siddur, so I'm learning the Chassidus also. So what you can see is, and now every Maimer has got a bit of history. So he tells you when the Maimorim was said. Most of the Maimorim on the Siddur are talking Samach Dalet, Samach Hey, Samach Vav. It's after the Alter Rebbe brings the Siddur talking Samach Gimel. Then you see the Maimorim, lots of Maimorim of the Siddur. Okay, so Pshat about Zayim Ma'asim. The Alter Rebbe, what I want to say is, the Alter Rebbe had here an opportunity. He prints a Siddur, and he put in bits of halacha, which he wasn't ready to print the whole sefer, but in the Siddur he incorporated. All right, so one of the größte Chidushim of the Alter Rebbe is Lagabe the Shiur, which I'm not going to give you a whole lot of this, but the Alter Rebbe, like the Vilna Gaon, have come to the conclusion that we're not going to pass him like Rabbeinu Tam's, but we're going to pass him like Shittas HaGe'enim, that right after sunset is ready Shiur. The problem is, Rabbeinu Tam, Harakia Molek Echam, was sagt mir jetzt ist es gekommen, Harakia Molek Echam, Neged HaChalot Rebbe has a lotion, Neged HaChush or Plia Nizgeva. Rabbeinu Tam kennen nicht on them. Oh, but the Ge'enim is too early. You don't see Kechavim. So the Alter Rebbe deals with this to justify that it is the Mitzvah you will see Gimel Kechavim by the Zman Haggai. What the Alter Rebbe do? He first of all he says if Shiur Mil is either 18 minutes or 24 minutes, so he says we're going to go for the Shiur of 24 minutes. The Lashon Gemara is shloishes and a v'yemim. Ben Hashmoshes is 3/4 of a mil. So 3/4 of 18 is 13 and a half. 3/4 of 24 is 18. So we start off already with a larger Shiur. Then the Alter Rebbe includes another margin of Rabbi Yossi, but then the Ikeh Chiddush is, the Alter Rebbe says, when is the moment of Shkia? The Pashta Zach is, the lower you are, the sooner, if you are at the beach and you're looking at the west, you'll see the sun setting. But you look back, let's say you are in Haifa. You look at the Haifa, so you're looking towards the west, you see the sun setting, the sun's not there. You look back to the other side, and you see Har HaKarmel. At the top of the mountain is still bright. You can see the sun is gleaming there. So the Alter Rebbe says, not Shkia Amitas yet. Only when the sun is set, that even Mirosh Yehorim Agvei Shabbat Israel, it's no longer direct kind of view of the sun. That is called Shkia Amitas. The Alter Rebbe, in simple words, has, in English we say, padded the figures. He's kind of taken the cheshbon of 18 minutes, and he managed to stretch it to about 24 minutes approximately. And the Metzius is that you will, in a place where there's no light pollution, you will be able to see Gimel Kechovim at the Alter Rebbe's man. I was once in France during the summer, and I worked out when it's going to be. It says the Alter Rebbe. We stood on the veranda there, and I called over a couple of people. And said, within a minute, when is the Gimel Kechovim? We stood there. It's in the mountains, the Alps, and within a minute of the time, one there. And just to finish up, I think I'm going over time. You have here the 3 Kechovim. You have 3 Kechovim is Laila. You have Gimel Kechovim Beinanim. Then you have Gimel Kechovim Ktanim, and then you have Gimel Kechovim Retzufim. Gimel Kechavim Retzuvim means that the 3 Kechavim are near one another. When I'm saying Gimel Kechavim is Ein Dayan, this is Gimel Kechavim. That's it. That's Lilo. But Lagabi Motzei Shabbos, we take an extra margin until you have Gimel Kechavim Retzufim, and therefore you have an extra few minutes of taste for Shabbos. Okay. Yes, that's the Shiur. But here the Alter Rebbe, this is and the Alter Rebbe in the Seder, in the Siddur. Now in the first print which we got from Shlof Samach Gimel, it's not there. It looks like he included it in the later edition. So there we have the Seder Achnos Shabbos, this whole new Mahalach, which is interesting. The Alter Rebbe had a Chaver, a Talmud HaMagid, who gave out a sefer I think called Menorah HaTorah. And in this Sefer Menorah HaTorah, he also paskins like Ge'enim Nish V'Rabbeinu Tam. And the history is that the Alter Rebbe traveled a fundraising mission together with the Baal HaMenorah HaTorah. And can say in the Yana Fabrengen is gekommen to Maskona Amedaf Paskin Ge'enim Nish V'Rabbeinu Tam. This is nice in a Chassidish theory. Was my hunch about this is very simple. That if you're living more closer to the Kav HaMashveh, closer to the equator, it's not so extreme. But when you're so far north, and the Zmanim becomes so much stretched because of in the evening, in the winter, in the summer, it's very long, and so it becomes very difficult. As you see, the word neged achush is starker because it's
Because they live in the same area.
and that's my feeling about it. Therefore, they came to the Maskon. You can't play Paskin.
It's dark outside. It's very hard to see.
We're funny people. In the winter, it's 6 o'clock in the morning. It's pitch black outside. Daven Shachris comes in the summer. You get the develop. It's afternoon, 7 p.m. Yeah, my idea. We're interesting people. We're fluid about it. Okay, I think I'm going to stop with that.
And
Wish you
also,
all-
how come you have the Krok? A lot of things the same. The Torah is not given over the Haley. The Torah is given down to earth. If you devote yourself 100% to
There's a few things that most of the Alter Rebbe's Shiur
Gershma.
creates man for Krishna, but also the Gabi Peter Naben, the Shiur of the Hamisha Shloim. Also much very, very close. There's a Chumrah. All right, I'll stop with this and wish you all Hatzlocha Rabbo and.
The newspaper, the Shia,
Levi,
very, very close with the number to.
end stream, yeah?
From the Shia, so the Shia will be fine.
No, it's going to be at this 4 minutes. No, wait a minute.